In the world of cybersecurity, there are these moments. Alarms are blaring, red lights are flashing, and a company's entire digital life is hanging by a thread. This is all about the digital first responders, the ones who rush in when a crisis hits. So, what really happens in those first critical minutes and hours after a breach? Let's dive in. Just imagine it. Your company's most important server just went dark. Customer data might be out in the wild. The difference between total chaos and getting things under control, it all comes down to one thing: having a plan. Because really, the question isn't if a breach is going to happen, it's how you're going to respond when it does. And that's exactly where incident handling comes into play. Now, this isn't about winging it. It's a super precise, methodical playbook for digital emergencies. It's the protocol that takes that potential chaos and turns it into a coordinated, calm response, making sure every single action is deliberate and aimed at one thing: regaining control. So, what does this playbook actually look like? Well, it's built around a core 6-step process. This is what guides the entire response, from that very first alert all the way to the final report. The easiest way to think about it is like fighting a fire, right? Detection, that's your smoke alarm going off. Analysis is when you figure out, okay, how big is this fire really? Containment is like closing all the doors to stop it from spreading. Eradication, well, that's putting the flames out. Recovery is rebuilding whatever got damaged. And finally, documentation is writing it all down so that you can make sure it never, ever happens again. It's a complete cycle designed to handle a threat from start to finish. But what happens when the first responders on the scene realize the fire is way bigger than they thought? Sometimes that initial team just can't handle it alone. And this is a critical turning point in any incident. It's all about knowing when to call for backup. This definition right here really gets to the heart of it. Escalation isn't a sign of failure. It's actually a built-in safety mechanism. It's the official, structured way of saying, hey, we need more specialized skills here, or we need someone with the authority to make a much bigger call. Getting this right is absolutely crucial, because if you escalate too slowly, a small problem can turn into a full-blown catastrophe. So when do you pull that trigger? The signals are usually pretty clear. The team on the ground is asking themselves, is this attack just too sophisticated for our tools? Is this ransomware spreading like wildfire across the network? Are we looking at legal trouble from a data breach? If the answer to any of these is yes, well, that's the moment you hit the big red button and bring in the reinforcements. And you do it fast. All right, so the call is made to escalate. What happens now? Well, you don't just call one person, you activate what's called an escalation ladder, assembling a team of specialists who are perfectly suited for whatever crisis is unfolding. And there are two main ways up that ladder. First, there's functional escalation. This is all about skill. You're calling in a specialist, like a digital forensics expert, who can piece together what the attacker did. Then you have hierarchical escalation. This is about authority. You're going up the chain of command to get a huge decision approved, like taking a critical system offline. For response to work, you need both of these paths working in perfect harmony. Of course, not all incidents are created equal. As you can see here, they get classified by severity, kind of like patients in an emergency room. A low-severity incident, like a bunch of failed login attempts, is pretty minor and can be handled quickly. But a critical one? We're talking about something like a ransomware attack that grinds the entire business to a halt. That triggers an immediate, all-hands-on-deck escalation, straight to the very top. At the very bottom of the ladder, you've got Level 1. This is your front line. These are the analysts in the Security Operations Center, the SOC. Think of it as the company's digital watchtower. They're monitoring the network 24/7, catching those first signs of trouble, and handling all the routine stuff. When Level 1 spots something they can't solve, they escalate it up to Level 2. This is the dedicated incident response team. You can think of them as the detectives. They're the ones who dive deep, hunt for the bad guy inside the network, and use more advanced tools to fight back. Now, for the most complex, most dangerous threats, Level 2 calls in the real heavy hitters, Level 3. These are the elite specialists. We're talking digital forensics experts who can recover deleted evidence, threat intel analysts who know the enemy's playbook inside and out, and the malware gurus who can literally take an attacker's code apart piece by piece. And right at the very top, you have the command center. This level isn't about technical fixes anymore. It's all about strategic command. The Chief Information Security Officer, or CISO, and other executives are making the really tough calls. Do we pay the ransom? Do we need to call the FBI? They're managing the legal, the financial, and the public relations side of the crisis. Okay, so the crisis is over. The systems are back online. But the work is not finished.
In fact, one of the most important phases is just getting started, learning the lessons from the fight so it doesn't happen again.
You know, throughout this entire crisis, clear communication is the glue that holds the whole response together. Without it, that escalation ladder just breaks down. Every single handoff needs a quick, concise report. Think of it like a battlefield update that tells the next level exactly what's happening, what's been done, and what's needed right now. No room for ambiguity, just the facts. So, what's the big takeaway from all this? Well, winning the next fight actually starts today. It's about having a plan and practicing it relentlessly. It's about running drills, keeping your tools sharp, and documenting everything. A great response isn't magic. It's the result of pure discipline and preparation. Which really leaves us with one final thought. Every single company, every hospital, every government agency has a playbook just like this. The real question is, when those alarms go off for real, will it be ready? Is it actually good enough to win?